Hello and welcome to Talk a Good Game, and we're back for a special edition. We're not going to be doing a match preview or a match review. We've got a big one this time. We have this West Ham ladies captain, or former captain, if you like, Stacey, with us tonight. Stacey, good evening and thank you for popping on.
Hello, you're right.
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Should I ask how you are?
I'm okay considering. I don't think it's really sunk in yet. But I think the support of all the West Ham fans has helped me get through it.
Yeah, it's been overwhelming. And tonight I'm going to be asking Stacey all about what's going on over the last few months at West Ham ladies and what has happened. Because as you all know, unless you've been living under a rock, 6 of them have left, including Stacey, and social media went into a bit of a meltdown last night. Now, Hammers Chat spoke to Kerry last night as well, and the article is on hammerschat.com, and I assume most of you have read it if you're watching this, but if you haven't, you can go read that. But we are here to get Stacey's version of it. Stacey, last season, you played under a legend of West Ham. How did last season go for you?
I think last season went really well. Like the season before, before Julian come in, we finished second from bottom. So he had a job on his hands to obviously get us performing well and to get us moving up that table, and that's exactly what he done. And I've not got a bad word to say about Julian at all. I thought he was a brilliant manager. His coaching was brilliant. He had so many different drills. He was always there on time. Everything set out when we got there. And last season, it was, I would have liked to have got silverware, but obviously we lost. I mean, we got to the final and lost, unfortunately. But last season, compared to the season before, obviously it was important to have a good season, and we've definitely done that under Julian.
Brilliant. And one thing I would like to mention, you didn't mention it there because I think that reflects your personality, actually. You yourself had to raise quite a lot of money for the club, didn't you? Do you want to tell us a bit more about that in case people don't know about it?
Yeah, we just obviously we have to raise our own money. I'm talking still like I'm still there. So West Ham ladies obviously have to raise their own money. And last season we had got into, financially it wasn't brilliant. So we had to think of ways how to get money into the club, and pretty sharpish. And basically, I just raised a GoFundMe page, obviously to help out with travel costs on match days, pitch fees, referee fees, all of that stuff that the ladies teams have to pay for, and literally just advertising obviously on social media, which is a very powerful thing, and it just sort of went from there, and we raised near enough £3,000, which obviously helped us a great deal. But again, the West Ham fans come through and were brilliant again for us last season for doing that for us as well.
Yeah, that's a fantastic achievement, though. It was great support pre-season as well with the West Ham fans. Actually, Hammers Chat ourselves tried to raise money to sponsor a West Ham ladies player. We luckily did. We got to our £200 despite being quite small. Ex-West Ham employee, Overland and Sea, Claret and Blues. Ian Dale's West Ham Till I Die all raised quite a lot of cash for the West Ham ladies pre-season as well. Stacey, pre-season, Julian left, Mark came in. Results were quite good on paper.
Yeah.
You want to tell us more?
Pre-season, obviously, results were good, but the standard of the teams that we were playing were just not. They weren't really a test. So the teams all these teams have been arranged, and there were teams pulling out. I think obviously after Julian had left, because naturally, obviously having Julian at a game like away games will get people through their gates anyway, because people want to see Julian. But it was obviously the standard of the teams that we were playing weren't a real test for us, and it was very difficult to try and work on the things that they wanted to work on this season. I played centre back in I think majority of them games, and I just stood there most of them, and if the ball come to us, it went straight back, and then we were waiting, they scored, and then it was starting again, and it was just, they just weren't really testing the games. You just didn't really get much out of them in pre-season.
Yeah, you had quite a lot of teammates leave and some new signings as well. We're going to move on quite sharply. To be fair, we're not that far into the season anyway. Now, on Sunday, there was a bit of a palaver after your last defeat. But before we talk about that, where did it all start to go wrong for yourself at West Ham Ladies? Because you've been quite quiet, actually. A lot of people have been talking about how you have been outspoken, but you've actually remained very, very quiet over this last few months, haven't you?
Me personally?
Yeah.
What about the situation?
Yeah, you've remained reasonably quiet. You know, no one. This is why it's come as a surprise to people. It's kind of been. You say it's been bubbling under the surface, and it's only just come out a wee bit.
Yeah, I suppose it has. Obviously, I can't talk too much sort of publicly, and you know you don't really want to give off the vibe that things aren't good at West Ham, because obviously other clubs pick up on it, and things like that. So there's a certain level of sort of professionalism, if you like, that you've got to keep. But it's been tough from the start, to be honest. You know, when Mark first come in, we tried to help him. We tried to tell him, that, you know, and for me, he was underestimating our league massively. You know, he come in with the, you know, and I'm all for positivity, but there's being confident, and then there's just being deluded. And for me, when he come in and he was saying that we were going to win the league, for me, that was just nonsense. And we said, no, we're not. We weren't good enough to win the league. We were never going to win the league. And you've got to be realistic about these things. But we tried telling him, we tried helping him out, and he just chose not to listen to us. And that cost us in the first game against Coventry. And I think from that Coventry game, I think he lost a lot of respect, because after the game when we lost 5-0, he basically tore into us on the pitch in front of everyone, sort of in the stands and that, you know, standing around the pitch. And he lost a lot of respect then, because there's a way that you do things, and that wasn't it. And from there, once a manager's lost the dressing room, I don't think you're ever going to get it back. And unfortunately, that was the case in Mark's position. The things that he done was just not acceptable in some people's eyes.
Yeah, as the captain, that the leader of the dressing room, the girl that has to represent the other girls, if you like, did you find it even more difficult trying to maintain that bond with the girls and try and help Mark out?
I find it really difficult, actually, because, and it was the same in training, like training sessions have been poor. I don't feel like we really get coached, and I find it really difficult because I'm so passionate about the club. I want, you know, I wanted us to do well. I've always wanted us to do well, and I've always wanted what's best for the club and for the team. But you know, people look to a captain, and you know, they're meant to be positive all the time. And for me, I'm not like that. And I think my emotions show. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and you can tell if I'm pissed off and if I'm not. But that's just the way I am. I'm not gonna sugarcoat things. I'm not gonna pretend things are okay when they're really not. And you know, things like training did wind me up, but I'm not going to go, oh, it's okay, nothing's wrong, it's okay, because it's not. And I think that's how I found it very difficult, because I couldn't remain positive because things weren't good enough. And I let people show that, whereas some people might be able to hide that well, but unfortunately I don't hide things like that.
Yeah, on Sunday, you got beat 1-0 again. Is that where it properly went pear-shaped, is it, Sunday?
To be honest, has been brewing for weeks, and it was always, at some point, it was just going to explode. And Sunday, obviously, Kerry had a spat with Mark, which again was embarrassing for the club, because Basildon could hear everything that was going on. And you know, they were standing outside the changing room listening to what was going on. And you know, I'm trying to like tell Mark to obviously to get out, just leave Kerry alone. You know, let them both calm down, but no, you couldn't get a word in. Which again I thought was very unprofessional of him. But that was sort of that's where it all started. That's where it all stemmed from. Obviously, having the team meeting last night. But I mean, I got suspended obviously for I put a tweet out saying, what did I say? Obviously we had lost, and I said, oh, it's time for people to start listening and take action. And I got suspended for that tweet. That's what I got suspended for.
Got suspended just for the tweet?
Yep, for that. Now, what I said wrong, I'm not quite sure, because and the funny thing is Addy, our goalkeeper, put a tweet out as well, near enough along the same lines, no action at all. So they picked on me, suspending me, and took action against no other player.
And so, that was the same day. If you read the Hammers chat article, you'll see that was the same game that Kerry ended up getting released.
Yep.
The club. And then come last night, what happened, Stacey?
So we had a team meeting. Sunday night, Mark had sent out a text message to the team, but me and Kerry weren't included in that text. So we basically weren't invited to the meeting, which how you can have a meeting without your captain and your vice captain, I'll never know. So we basically said to the girls, like, I mean, I messaged Mark and I said, I'm still part of this team, so I will be at the meeting. And he told me, no, you're suspended. You won't be, you're not welcome at the meeting. I'm fully aware of your opinion. So me and Kerry obviously put out to the girls, like, you know, do you want us to the meeting? They said, yeah. And we turned up, and the girls obviously said, you know, we want them in. And Mark said, fine, sit down. So meeting started, obviously people putting their points across. Me being me, I had my little notepad with all my points.
Organised as a captain does, I suppose.
Yeah. I do love a list. So went through the points, and basically, you know, I said everything I had to say, and then at the end of it, I said to Mark, I said, to be honest, Mark, I said, there's one solution for this. I said, and that's you leaving. I said, I don't see how the situation's going to get any better. I said, you've lost the changing room, and once you've done that, I don't see how you're going to get it back. I said, so I said, if you have any respect for us in here and yourself, I said, you'd leave. And his reply was, I'm not going anywhere. So if you want to leave, or if you don't want to be here, you can get up and go. And that's when the six of us got up and walked out.
Did all six of you just go at the same time, did you?
Yep. That when he said that, we got up and went. So that was that.
Have you heard anything since from anyone at West Ham Ladies with Mark or Stephen, or?
No.
Just
no.
Null and void.
No, to be honest, I don't expect to, and I don't really want to be honest.
I'm going to have to ask the question. Would you go back if Mark had left?
It's not just Mark that's the problem. It's the chairman as well. We, as a captain, if my manager is a problem, not for only me but for the rest of the girls, I need to be able to go to the chairman. Now, not once did he make it possible for me to go and speak to him. Every time when I did try and speak to him, he said, I'm not getting involved with player issues. That's Mark to deal with. Now, for me, that's not acceptable. If it's about the manager, who do I speak to? I can't do anything. I haven't been able to do anything. And as a captain, when you have nil responsibility, you know, it's like, what is the point? You're fighting a losing battle. And to be honest, I've never felt so disrespected as a captain in my life. You know, I've been there 6 seasons. I've done a lot for the club, and they've treated me like that this season. So for me, even if Mark went, there's still the issue of Stephen, and the way he's handled all this and the things that he said about us, I'd find it very hard to go back when he was there as well. So it'd have to be the pair of them gone.
I think it's fair to say you six have the support of social media.
Yeah.
Yeah, you must be overwhelmed though by the support. Surely you didn't think it was big.
The support from the West Ham fans, and not even just West Ham fans, just sort of fans of women's football, has been absolutely phenomenal. Like, I don't think I've seen one bad word said about us. Everyone obviously can't believe how we've been treated, and if I could hug every single one of them, I would.
I think there might be a queue actually. I think there might be a queue somewhere. But yourself, though, Stacey, what's next for you?
To be honest, right now I have not got a clue. I haven't thought about it. I've had a couple. Well, I've had a few offers from other clubs. So for me, I don't know at the minute. It's obviously still a bit too raw to start sort of planning for the future already, until it sort of sinks in and becomes reality. So I honestly, I don't know at the minute.
One thing I like, as you know, people won't know, but I met yourself a couple of weeks ago, and I said to you at the time, I thought you oozed passion, and also there was a little mini manager in you, if you like, clearly had knowledge of the game. I said to you then, I've said it on the Hammers Chat forum as well, I'll say it to anyone, I'm saying it here now, you have started your badges, haven't you?
Well, I do my level 1 the end of this month, in a couple of weeks' time. So I should have done them years ago, really. But I have actually finally pulled my finger out and I've booked it, and I'm going to start doing them, because obviously, this has happened, and if I'm going to stop playing football, I'd still like to be involved in football. So my badges is obviously one way that I can still be involved.
Yeah, watch the space, everyone. Stacey, I'd like to say thank you so much for giving up your time, coming on and chatting to us here.
You're welcome.
Keep in touch with us, ourselves, and all the fans. I think everybody wants to see you back at West Ham, ladies, and fingers crossed, something
things
can become resolved. But thank you very much again, Stacey. Good night.